Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I wanted to start off by going over all of the Total Divine Oracle decks so that you get a general idea of how to utilize the decks, what they're all about, and get started. I will start with the Self-Love Oracle deck. This was my very first deck, and it really looks at inner healing, ways to nurture and care for yourself. Basically, the intro card says, may this Oracle deck remind you to give yourself the love you need and deserve. And so that's one of the things that we need to start looking at, is basically starting within and taking care of ourselves on the inside. The second one is the Shadow Work Oracle deck. This was my second deck that I created. And it's really looking at the shadows of ourselves. And this is a great deck to use in conjunction with tarot readings. Sometimes we don't know there are certain areas within our subconscious that we need to work on. And so it's an excellent tool to kind of help you identify that. I also have it in the poker size. It was requested to have it slightly bigger. And so there are two sizes of the shadow work, the travel size and the poker size. The third deck is my Happy Oracle deck. I love this deck. And it's just so many ways of happy words, other than using the words happy. There's jubilant in there, there's blissful. And so this kind of brings you to a higher vibration when you go through each and every card. When I'm kind of in a funk, I like to go through these cards, and they kind of really get me grounded and to a happier place. The next one is the Self-Affirmation Deck. This is a deck of many I am statements. In clinical settings, I usually work with clients and ask if they can, just give me some I am statements of who they are. I am beautiful. I am lovely. I'm gorgeous. And they usually can't. And so I created this deck to kind of help prompt, even for myself, to begin with I am statements in the morning, to really set the tone for how I want the day to be and who I want to become. The following is the My Self-Affirmation Deck. These are 25 blank cards, front and back. And so you basically can write your own self-affirmations on here, and it's an excellent tool to kind of keep you on your path of where you're going. The next one is my self-affirmation deck in Spanish, and it was highly requested, and so I had the deck translated by a very good friend of mine. Basically, it is the self-affirmation deck translated into Spanish. Love this deck. Next deck is the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine Oracle deck. I created this deck to balance out my energies of my Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine. I have a strong tendency to be more masculine in characteristics such as driven, leader. So I've really embraced my Divine Feminine characteristics and really added a lot of feelings, communication. And so this deck actually helps identify that for me. And, the white cards are the Divine Feminine cards, and the black ones are the Divine Masculine cards. And I do use these for kind of inner work and checking in on myself. The next deck I absolutely love is the My Higher Self Oracle deck. It's kind of in conjunction with the Self-Love deck. It's really to get yourself to the higher, truer person that you are. So may this deck connect you more with a true you, your higher self, which is your best guide, which is the inner voice that you have, to more meaningful life experiences. So it kind of reviews, things that you can work on throughout the day to get closer to your true higher self. The next deck is one of our best sellers, which is the Triggers Oracle deck. Sometimes we don't know what our triggers are until the situation occurs. So this deck is excellent to go through and really identify, are those triggers for me? Is it something that I need to work on? And it's excellent with tarot as well. The flyer cards that come out actually kind of identify what triggers you need to work on. Some of them are dead on, and some of them are some that you don't even realize. So again, one of our best sellers, in addition to the shadow work decks, is the Triggers deck, and love the color of this deck. It goes really well with the shadow work deck too, in doing tarot. Our fourth bestseller is the Twin Flame Oracle deck. So this deck talks about the runner and the chaser. So The runner cards are the red cards and the chaser are the yellow cards. So it kind of helps you develop an understanding of what's happening with each person in the twin flame journey. It goes really well with tarot as well and couples readings. The next deck, my favorite deck, one of my most recent decks, is a Soulmate Oracle deck. This was recently developed due to my soulmate relationship. I absolutely love this deck. You know, if you're not in a soulmate relationship, this is a great deck to go through, and it helps call in your soulmate, helps identify what you really truly want in a relationship. And, you know, it's excellent for love readings, kind of see where you're at, get a general idea of what your current relationship is standing on, what you need to work on as well. Next is the Codependent Oracle deck. Sometimes our relationships have some codependent tendencies that we are completely unaware of. What this deck does is it kind of helps identify if you have these codependent tendencies and what you can do to work on that. And a lot of codependent behavior stems from childhood, which has a great effect on our adult relationships. So going through that deck can help identify the codependent characteristics we may have. Again, another recent deck that was created is the Inner Child Healing Oracle deck. There's a lot of inner child wounds that we may have. This deck can help identify that. You know, to help address issues in our adulthood that had stemmed from difficulties that we had when we were a child. And so we want to have more experience with emotional freedom, love, and joy. And so sometimes tapping into our inner child is the way to go on that. This is an appropriate way to shuffle the decks and to put your energy into them. So you're able to, you know, sometimes flyers come out, and the spirit guides will actually identify what needs to be worked on. And so these are very hand size, travel size, easy to shuffle. I absolutely love them. I take them on the go with me. You know, and there's a flyer. Your needs can be met by you. Yes, you. And so that one is the Codependent Oracle deck. Again, the poker size is slightly bigger than the travel size Shadow Work Oracle deck. And a lot of tarot readers on YouTube have purchased this deck and are using it on their channels. And again, thank you to all those referrals and sending them to my shop to purchase, you know, any of my decks. So this is a larger deck. The words are a little bit bigger. And when, you know, on YouTube, it's easier to identify and read or take snapshots of. So there is the poker size. I am considering doing the larger sizes on the other decks as well, but for now, Shadow Work, since it's one of our top sellers, I do have it in a larger size. And so we pulled out Uncompromising and Inconsiderate. So those are some shadows that we may need to work on. We do have Total Divine stickers available. It has our logo, and also we got this idea when we were in Santa Cruz. It's Total Divine written in Japanese. Cute little sticker. I'm going to show you my favorite tarot deck, the Rider Waite, which is actually the mini size. Like I said, I love taking these oracle decks with me on the go when we head to the ocean or out of town. So this tarot deck goes with us as well. And again, easy to shuffle. I'll pull out a few tarot cards and then I'll confirm it with, you know, certain oracle cards that I want to use for the day, whether it be shadow, trigger, you know, self-affirmations that I need to work on. We're going to conclude with the Star card. So my favorite card. And again, it's just a reminder that, you know, all of us can make changes within. And see you soon.